when Barcelona gets tired, because that's been a theme with Barcelona. In a moment, you got to recognize the moment, the way that you read the game. If you're still in it, second leg, late, punch there. And it's an even game, punch there. Barcelona's tired. They were, I don't know if sloppy is the right word, but sharp is what they weren't.
Do you think this graphic, Grella, represents the game well from what you saw with the momentum chart?
Yeah, I mean, aside from the 2 goals in the first half, Inter were pinned in their own end, and Barcelona were playing total football, and they were fantastic. And I think the second half is more what I saw. An Inter side that responded a little bit, came to life, played higher up the pitch, took more chances. Again, I think Inter will come away. They had 3 different leads in the game. Inter will come away not totally satisfied. Okay, big picture, 3-3, you're going back home. Right. Okay, no problem.
You taking it coming into the game.
But when you have 2-0 lead that early on in the game, and you don't exploit that high line more, I think in that second half they asked more questions, and they were more brave with their position up the field. I think a really razor-sharp Inter finished that game maybe 3-4-1, because I don't think they took a real advantage of the back line.
I agree. You look at the result again, big picture. There's 2 different conversations here. As fans, you say, all right, they walked away from the stadium in Montjuic with a 3-3 result. They didn't lose. Barcelona didn't win at home.
Which is great.
Which is great. But then that's the what. What about the how? And I think Inzaghi's going to go back this weekend, look at tape. See, why did we give up 2 leads like that? Why were Barcelona able to come back so easily, or at least so quickly? How do we not keep them at bay? How do we not manage this type of situation better? And we got to learn from this. And then in San Siro, if we find ourselves up again, recognize what happened in the first leg, and put out fires where they need to be put out, and just be cautious of how Barcelona could create danger against you.
I understand what you're both trying to say, but I think that we will be naive to not think that Inter and Inzaghi will be thinking that there's an element of respecting the opposition and the quality that they have. You can do what you have to do. Yes, you can, but this is Barcelona you're playing, and at the moment, they are one of the best teams in world football. So you could defend for as long as that, but you know that you're coming up against quality players. Eventually, something's going to happen. So I think that there's an element of respect and respecting the opposition. But like you said,
too much respect is what gets you eliminated,
I understand that, but I don't think Inter gave them too much respect. I think we watched a fantastic game of football. Like you said, if Inter could know before this game to go there with everything that we've seen so far, Barcelona and how they've been in Inter's current run of form, to say 3-3 and go back home for the second leg,
don't you think it's Hansi Flick that's scratching his head at the end of this one, because they've conceded 3 goals in their last 6 games off corners anyway, and then coming into this game they've just conceded a bucket load more, which we'll see on just these set pieces.
Yeah, I mean, my thing, this is the set piece goals for Inter. Again, this is, you got to go and try to win the first one and win the second one. And if you don't win it, that's okay. But you see, he got absolutely ragdolled there by Acerbi. Look, he's got him by the shirt. Then he ragdolls him again at the end. Then Dumfries goes and attacks it. And then this one as well. I mean, like I said, you don't have to head it, but you can't let your guy head it. And Dumfries, in the end of the day, he runs unimpeded. Nobody touches him there.
Nothing causes chaos in the box when you're a small team and you're playing a big team with big players who are a threat for set pieces, because it makes them uncomfortable. When you look at those set pieces there, they just looked uncomfortable. I mean, against Bayern, for me, I just think Bayern was just poor defensively, because Bayern do have bigger players in stature. But in this one there, they keep that second ball alive. Kimmich is the one that just misses it there, and Martinez puts it into the back of the net. But when I look at the comparison and the differences, I think for me, Barcelona are a small team. They're a lot more technical players. They're very nippy, and you can see how uncomfortable they looked. And again, look, another one. But this is just
Pavard is no one touches Pavard until he touches the ball. Then their contact's made at the same time. For me, if I'm marking someone, and now the modern game has gone away from man marking, but if I'm marking Pavard there, or if I'm marking, if I'm marking Nico, I don't care if I head the ball. I don't care where I am. I don't care where the ball ends up. I just know for for sure, he's not going to head it. And if he is heading it, he's got me draped all over him, and I'm pulling him, and I'm bumping him, and he's not going to just get a free header. In a lot of these opportunities that they score, it's an unimpeded run, and they go and score. Now, to go back to what I was saying before, I think with Inter, I'm not saying that they could have stopped these goals against Barcelona or the quality of Barcelona. I could go through all 3 Barcelona goals, and I don't know if you can stop any of them. They were actually perfect. There's no way you could have done better in those situations. And if you were a manager saying, "Oh, we could have done better in this situation," then you're really nitpicking.
The second goal they could have. They got caught sleeping.
It's such a good ball behind.
It's a great ball behind to Rafinha, but then as soon as that ball goes to Rafinha,
but you're nitpicking.
You've got to follow the runner.
Realistically, you're nitpicking. My take of Inter, though, is I'm not saying you can stop those goals or you can. That's another argument for another day. But they didn't exploit that back line as much as they could. They exploited it in the first minute. They exploited it probably 3 other times. What I'm saying is they probably could have gotten more goals out of the game from open play because of the way Barcelona played. And the Mkhitaryan one was you're talking about. We show it, or maybe we'll show it again tonight. We're talking about this much. We're talking about 2 inches, right? So I just thought that they could have taken advantage on that front more, not the defending. The defending.
Later in the second half, when Barcelona gets tired, because that's been a theme with Barcelona. In a moment, you got to recognize the moment, the way that you read the game. If you're still in it, second leg, late. Punch there, and it's an even game. Punch there. Barcelona's tired. They were, I don't know if sloppy is the right word, but sharp is what they weren't in that last moment when they were trying to counter-press, when they were trying to figure Inter out. Inter found those spaces. I agree with Grella. They could have gotten, it's crazy to say, they could have gotten something more out of this.
I think so, but then when you look at Inter's best outlets, it's always the wing-backs. It's Dumfries and DiMarco. But when you look at that first half again, what were they doing? They had to drop deep, to double up, to pick up Lamine.
As you have to.
That's the whole seesaw of Barcelona.
As you have to.
So either you take that risk and leave yourself vulnerable.
High risk, high reward, isn't it? And Nico, apparently we've got a comment for you because we're live on YouTube, as we mentioned. Question to Nico, is set pieces and crosses a real problem, or is it the high line for Barcelona? Kind of what we were talking about here.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Barcelona has look again. Is Hansi Flick going back to the locker room, scratching his head, saying, "What happened there?" Because we've seen this from Barcelona, time and time again. We saw it against Benfica. We saw it against Dortmund. They're going to play the same way. They're going to take the same risks at San Siro. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, but they could be better at defending the set pieces, right?
Well, yeah, but as we said, Inter are more physical side. Yeah, you can't let them get a header in the box. What's Araujo doing? Araujo is your center back, your captain, is backtracking, jumping with his back when the ball's heading over him instead of following the ball.
And then if you get Lewandowski back again, you put him in that zonal area where to attack it.
Helps you.
Different. That helps you so much because obviously he's such a good header of the ball. Put him in a zone area, he'll clear the ball, then that stops everything. But they did look uncomfortable because of Inter's physical presence. And I've been in that situation before when a manager tells me to mark a player and I'm like, I know I can't jump already. I'm not going to mark him. And like Grella said, if I'm not going to head it, he ain't going to head it. But obviously we use the dark arts in our day of different things. No VAR. We could get away with murder. But for me, I would say you swap with me and I'll go out to close down anything else from the set pieces. But Barcelona don't have that luxury.
I think you can't have it all either. Yeah.
One of those?
You can't have it all either. Like, you have these guys that we just raved about in the first half that are so technical. Like, Pedri has eyes in the back of his head. Like, he did things today that I was just, like, baffled by. As a ex-footballer, I'm like, there's a level there that you can't even think of. And then you want him to go and
Mark Bissac.
So you can't have it. So they have a lot of technical players that are good on the ball, but that means that they're going to give it up somewhere else. And the same, they like to squeeze teams in where they're really good, but that means they're going to leave something at the back. So that's the balance that Barcelona have.